Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Martians and aliens. We're not speciesists on this channel. Everybody's welcome. My name's Alan, and welcome to Mars, the second Genesis. Our offerings today are from Sol 109, and they were captured by the Perseverance rover. It was the pair of mastcams that captured these images. And the image we're looking at here looks quite sculpted. So we'll start at the top here. And if you look here, you can see the shape looks sculpted. We'll get this bit coming down here, like so. And we've got this bit parallel to this. And we've got these wee openings. And this piece on the side. And this piece here, in front of it, looks very sculpted. And it's coming down here. If you look at the arrow, you can see it's tapered. And this piece here looks very decorative. Could be the top of a building or whatever. And we've got this piece. And if you follow the arrow, you can see that curve. We seem to have some sort of circle here. And this piece is split. And if you look at this part carved out centre. But if you follow this and you look at the sand, this seems to continue below the sand. And we've got this piece which is curved. If you just look at the shape of it, and you can see, and we've got this piece at the back, especially this piece here. It's slotted, it's a square. And we've got this piece which seems to be part of this, and it's cracked. Maybe it's been some sort of column that's fallen down. And this can only be described as either part of a building with an arch. And what it reminds me of is Darth Vader out of Star Wars. There's the two eyes and the nose and the mouth. And we've got this square block at the front. The next offering, I have no idea what this is, but you can see we've got squares going through. We've got this circular piece, and we've got this part. And if you follow the shape and you look at this, it seems to be mechanical. It's attached to this here. And we seem to have some sort of rod here, maybe a hinge mechanism. We've got this circular piece here. This seems to be a pipe. But if you just look at that, you can see that's mechanical. It ain't a rock. For our next offering, it first looks like a rock. When you see this cut out here, and we've got a piece stuck in the inside. And if you look at how this tapers, and this seems to be open. And if you follow the arrow, it's curved. It's like wee scallops. And we've got some sort of markings on the side. Could be hieroglyphs. But what caught my attention to start with was this. If you follow the arrow, look at that. Perfect arc. That doesn't happen in nature. I've got a couple of cutouts here. If you look at this here, this is a thin piece of material, possibly metal. And we have these triangles cut out. So I would say this is some sort of mechanical piece. Now this bit could be joined to this, or it could be separate. I don't know. If you look at the sand, this curve that comes down actually continues in the sand. And you can see this is actually part of something in the sand. And it's sitting on something here. You can see it in white. if you look at this curve, follow it round, it comes up and down like that. That's not natural. That's something that is intelligently made. At first I thought this bit here at the back was just a rock, but look at the patterns on this. We've got a bit sticking out, we've got holes in it, and we've got this piece that arcs. And just look at it, that's a piece of something mechanical with holes in it. Now, this is an interesting one. I'll need to zoom in to show you what I'm going to show you. There is a lot in this. However, we're not here to sniff the roses, so to speak. One of my favourite things to show these days, look at the sand dunes, or so-called sand. Now remember, from previous videos you know that I know that they map sand to whatever's there. So let's take a wee closer look at this, shall we? Now, honestly, do you think that's sand? Now look how straight that is. And look at these bits going across. We'll zoom in a wee bit closer. And look at this bit at the back. That isn't sand. It isn't sand lining something. I've seen enough things bump mapped to things that are in an image to know that that is either a texture or a colour mapped to whatever was there. That is something structural. And you can see, follow the way it goes up, the way that comes down. I mean, look, 1, 2, 3. That's probably steps. Just look at this. Sand my arse. I'll zoom out. I'm going to tell you what I think this is, and you can let me know in the comments if you agree. But I think this is part of all this, which is a structure. And this part here is maybe it's been sheeting, metal that's on it, or maybe a fabric, something, and it's collapsed in. And that's what that looks like to me. And it's not just here. Let's follow it along. And it all goes up. I've got it here as well. And you can see it crossing. And you can see in the sand what's there. And you're probably thinking, oh, I wish I could see that a bit better. Well, you're in luck, because I'm not just a pretty face, you know, because I've done a really, really mega high contrast that will make a glass eye water. Well, let's have a look at it now. There's your structure. And look at this. You can see all the bits. You see it there? That's not sand, guys. That is the side of a structure. See it there? We can zoom in a bit. That's some weird alien shit right there, guys. See it? And basically what you're seeing is as good as I could get with NASA's garbage on it. So you can see all the mechanical bits, all the bolts where the sheeting had been all bolted together. But it's a collapsed structure, that's what it is. You can see there's a structural beam there. I mean, NASA hide this stuff well, and they're good at what they do. They're not as good as me. I could find alien structures anywhere. I've studied enough of their images and their garbage. I've tried so many different things, and I've managed to bring this out. And I don't do it for money, I don't do it for anything else. I do it to show the world what's really going on. Look at that. So you can see a bit of structural beam here. You see it? Metal. It might be a totally different material that we don't even have on this planet. We just presume they're like us. I'm afraid it's a different planet, it's a different culture, and they may have different materials. They may be millions of years more advanced than what we'll ever be. So we can't presume we know what they're about. But this gives us a wee kind of look into their world. And this up the back certainly doesn't look like rocks anymore, does it? It just looks like destroyed structures. Pretty cool, eh? So these are actually ruins, guys. You can actually see, without a shadow of a doubt, what these are. I like this, but I think this is really super cool. Just the shapes. They're masters at designing and building. I just think the style of what they do is just so beautiful. And as Chris from Mars, Anomalies and Beyond says, when you go into these images, you've no idea what you're going to find. And that is what is cool about it, you know, because I don't know why, but I've just got this thing. I can't get away from Mars. Once you get into this, it's like an addiction. You don't know what you're going to find. And it drives you on when you see stuff like this. I mean, I can't stop looking at this, even though it's a destroyed structure. You learn a lot about the culture by their designs. And something like this took quite a while to design, and it obviously took a lot of skill to build. So I would say they were a civilization that were not only artistic, but very proficient in engineering. And I don't think this was a half a dozen men operation. I think this was a lot of skilled workers who took great pride in their cities and their buildings and what they do. And I believe it was an important part of who they were. It's just a pity the clowns on this planet that are hiding all this doesn't have the same values and morals of these people. But don't worry, I'll show yous up for what you are. I'll piece all the clues together in these images and I will show it to the world. And you know what? I'll take great pride in doing it. And if I wasn't doing it, somebody else would. But one way or the other, the world will know the truth. You know, I wonder if they're still there underground and what happened to them. The theory it sort of sticks is a nuclear war. There's evidence of the signature of nuclear weapons in the Cydonia region. And for those of you who don't know, that's where the face of Mars was found. There's a good chance it's been a nuclear war. When it was, what happened, I don't know. But this kind of sort of points towards that. So anyway, on to our next anomaly. This one. There's quite a few anomalies in this. As you noticed, it's quite dark. The reason why I darken it is the way these images have been processed. They're processed in a way that gives them too much contrast. All the detail in the shadows has been taken out by painting in black, and the highlights has been burnt out too. And they seem to take the gamut or the midtones and shift them towards the highlight region, causing the midtones to lose their detail. So to try and recover some of the midtone detail, I darkened the midtones, and that's what causes the image to be dark. But it's the only way to get that detail back and to see it. You can still see a bit of detail in the shadows. Not that they were detail in the shadows to start with. You can actually see details of the decorative parts of this. And you can see it continues into the sand. And you can see all this, especially at the top here. And this shows you that this was intelligently made. And we'll get bits at the back. We'll get this mechanical piece here. It's got a couple of holes in it. And this decorative piece here with a hole in it. And we've got this stuff up here. And we've got sort of wavy, light carving on this. And also, we've got this here. So all in all, there are quite a lot of anomalies in this. Look at the sand dunes, what's below it, and the shape. And you can see that NASA's mapped this crap, this CGI sand, to what's there. So you can still see the outlines and the shadows of what's there. So this is no random rocks. They're probably all part of the one structure or part of a structure that's been blown apart. And this one, this is pretty cool. Well, first we've got sort of mechanical stuff at the front. We can see it's bits of pipe sticking out of that. We can see that it's mechanical in nature. Could be the top of your structure, could be something mechanical, and this as well. You can clearly see with the shape that's mechanical. But the part that really caught my eye was this. Anybody that thinks that's a rock needs to have a wee trip down to the local optician and get themselves a pair of glasses. I mean, just look at the design of that. It looks amazing. And this decorative piece at the back that, again, NASA's tried to blur out. And we've got mechanical pieces all over the place. And that's a cool find. Now, when I looked at that, this curve is what caught my eye. And I seen this was carved. But it was only when I was enhancing it, I happened to notice this looked like two eyes, and a nose, and a mouth, and a chin. Now it could be something mechanical, but that looks like a neck as well. And there has been rumours that the Martians have elongated skulls. So could this be a nose? Could that be eyes? Could it be a mouth? Could it be a chin? And something going round it, decorative? Could that have fallen in between something else? And then we've got this. You just look at the curves on that. You can see it is sculpted. And we've got possible hieroglyphs on this piece here. and a crack right through the centre. You can put in the comments, guys, what you think it is. And then we've got this. This was all whited out, this whole thing here. There's only so much you can bring back, because when they burn out the highlights and compress the hell out of it and make it a JPEG, and then turn it into a PNG, which I believe they're doing, the compression process actually throws away the detail that was in the original image, but there's always some left, and I managed to squeeze some of it back out again for you. But what I'll do is I'll zoom in for you and we can pan across, and you can see that it's some sort of sculpted form. Now I think this is something mechanical. You can see with the markings. And we go across to the back and we see that this is mechanical. And look at that. And also you can see quite clearly this at the back here has some sort of carving or hieroglyphs on it. Looks pretty cool. But actually seeing that up close and knowing that an alien civilization was on this planet and some wee Martian sculpted that to me is mind-blowing. And our next one, most people would think this is just nothing more than rocks. Let's take a closer look, shall we? We'll zoom in, not that much. Okay, let's look at the first one. You can see this, it's like a spine coming down the back, and it continues in the sand. We've got this perfect cutout here, and this here comes along, down, and it curves round. Now, this cutout was what caught my eye. And when we go over to the second one, and we see, look at the curvature of that, I don't think that's natural. A flat top, and it's got some sort of markings on it. And let's go to the final one, and we can see some sort of triangular bit. And it's flat in the top. I think this is one piece. If you look, you can barely see it, but you can see the white continuing. So I believe this is one piece. It may be part of a building that's below the ground. We've got this thing here, whatever it is. Could be all part of the one structure. But the fact that texture and colour-wise, these are all different for the surrounding sand, this tells me that, yeah, this could be a structure. And this one. Now, this is quite interesting. Again, I'll zoom in. We'll just go from left to right. Now, this looks a bit of a mess in 2D, but in 3D, you can distinguish bits and pieces. And this piece here where this wee hand tool is, you can see it's triangular there. We get this piece. We get this piece at the back. Could be a wee pyramid. We get this piece. And this seems to match the piece from the anomaly before. We've got another triangular piece at the back. And we've got this. Now this is what caught my eye, this here. And this here at the front. And we've got this dark piece. You can see it's smooth and it's sculpted. And we'll take a wee look at the back. We've got something cylindrical here. Moving along, we can see this is a structure. pipes coming forward and bits coming out of it. So as you can see, it's not just a pile of rocks. And we've got this. This caught my eye, which is a sculpted piece. Now, I don't know if this is part of it. If you look at the back end, it's a different colour and it's kind of sculpted. And this as well. And this at the front. Now, this piece here, this could be an eye. This could be a nose and a mouth. I don't know. But if you look at the shape of it, it's sculpted anyway, whatever it is. And for our last anomaly, or bunch of anomalies, this has really went to town with this, burning it out. But you can see the shapes. I'm going to zoom in a bit. You can see that this is not rocks. If you look at that, and we look at that, that looks like windows. Look at this piece here. And this here, you can see it's a series of box sections which is attached to this. And I bet you the reason why they blacked this out was that was an opening. So I believe this was a structure. You know, this may be the roof. Look at this here. Now, if you look at the way this comes down and up, look at this here, triangular. They've whited that out, but you can barely see it. But there's a line going across there. You can barely see it, and I think this is a roof. You look at these angles and the decorated bits. You can actually see like this, and this is all part of the same thing. And I believe it's the roof of a structure. And you can see with the sand and it coming down the side. Just look at it, you can clearly see that is a structure. And that, ladies and gentlemen, concludes today's anomalies. Hope you enjoyed it. And if you feel like it, you can comment in the description, and I'll thank you all for watching.